Hey, and welcome back to Talos Principle. Last time we finished Area 4 and today I'm going to check out Area 5. I mean, we are making some progress, but I still feel like this game seems a lot longer than I initially anticipated. Maybe it's just me being really slow whenever I read something. In any case, there are some cubes in here and I want to figure out what that means. I have not unlocked the cube yet. I mean, I can unlock it, but I don't really want to right now. I just want to see what happens if I don't have an upgrade. This is like all the science I want to do here right now. That's kind of rainy. I preferred the world without rain. Any case, we could use the computer first. You know what? Let's do that. It's a lot of reading, but I can probably handle it somehow. el.html. Again, like the dates are very interesting. Wait. They are basically both valid dates though. Like the first two. About like the AI citizenship as well, because like 9,997. That's like at least a valid number, I would assume, right? Anyway, let's just go through all of them. I have to remember I can use the mouse. EL, short for Extended Lifespan, is a groundbreaking initiative by 7 leading universities to create the world's most stable and most durable supercomputer. With its custom-made hardware, bomb-proof casing, and near inexhaustible hydroelectric power supply, EL represents a unique step forward in the evolution of human technology. The brainchild of Nobel Prize nominee Dr. Arkady Chernyshevsky? We've heard that name. They are part of like the same team with like the Ian, right? EL will and break. I feel like you're missing part of the passage. You should probably not just put a breakpoint in there. Links, download press kit, meet the team. Didn't we have the meet the team before? This is okay, an href, okay. I feel like there are some links missing. Apply contact. I'm gonna close here. Wait. Exit. Just quickly. I wanna select something with the team leads. This is like the listen, we should have. Wasn't it here? Oh wait, Arkady Chernyshevsky. It's the project lead, yeah. So they're still yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? We've read about that they are working on that stuff. Area 5? Oh wait, they are not red yet, they are like in yellow. That's interesting actually, I don't actually need to read them, I can read them from here. AI citizenship. Reconsider issue 199, Profile Alexandra Drennan. Once a true artificial intelligence has been created, the issue of citizenship is going to come up. If we acknowledge that the AI has all the abilities of a human brain, should it not be considered a citizen? Is it not, in the legal sense of the word, a person and thus a potential citizen? But where do you draw the line? Some people will object. Will the great apes become citizens? Elephants, whales, the more intelligent parrot species. It's crazy, they will say. I would remind these people that we live in a society in which a corporation, as abstract an entity as one could imagine, is considered a person. So it's not like there is no precedent for a non-human being a person. Oh, not a non-human being, but a non-human being a person. At least an artificial intelligence is an actual thinking being, not just a business arrangement. But perhaps we do need to question the definitions of personhood. Increasing amounts of evidence regarding the intelligence of elephants or the existence of culture among whales, for example, could be a sign that we need to answer some difficult questions. Who better to debate these questions with than the young genius who revolutionized the end? This is actually something, like I remember like during the test there was like a question about like personhood basically, or like when is something a person. And I kind of mentioned this because like being a person is not being human, right? Those are like two different questions. Would an AI be a person is a more interesting question. Like I know that this game originally was written like a decade ago, right? Like 2014 was the original one, and this is technically just like an enhanced edition. To my understanding, it just adds like minor things, and mostly it's like a graphical revamp. I don't know if the original actually needed that one, but I felt like this made more sense for me to play this one just because it's like the new version. Even though I got like the other version like 10 times and I also bought it again. I don't know, it's just kind of silly. Anyway, this is actually an interesting question. Right, because we always have like this is like also like a really weird pro AI debate. I should probably mention something. I'm like kind of very much against AI in like a lot of fields. Like we're talking about AI, and when I'm talking about like AI, a lot of the time when we are talking about that like as a topic, it's more about like the language learning models, or like when it comes to like generating images and stuff like that, where I'm quite against that from like multiple perspectives. One of them being, for example, that I as a student also teach as a student, right? Like I teach basically classes, and I teach them how to work with like relational databases, right? Like I grade the homeworks that the students hand in, and then I teach them how to actually do the tasks. That's probably the best way to put it, right? I give them like a solution, and I also talk about them, and just because it's like a field I used to work in before I went to university. Anyway, enough about me, but like one thing I always see about that is, for example, just like how grades have been steadily falling ever since AI has been able to, and again, I'm using AI in kinds of like real world mostly about learning, like the language learning models and stuff, but still it has been vastly like declining, so I'm generally against that. But I do think that the field is a rather interesting field, because there's also obviously the whole debate about like, is it a tool and stuff like that. And obviously we would probably assume that at this point it is, if it's anything like a tool, right? If you want to be charitable about it, right? Like it's a tool, and like there are a lot of fields where, especially like in medicine or in astrophysics and stuff, it's really useful to have like this algorithm. And again, it's technically an algorithm, right? Like, no need to be coy about that, but to use that one to really help process like large amounts of data. And it's really useful, right? Like, for example, the rate at which doctors are able to detect cancer, for example, due to the assistance of those pieces of algorithm, I'm gonna call it, has been really helpful, right? And the rate has just been increasing, and this is definitely something good. Where was I? This is like the question about like, should artificial intelligence get like personhood? And we obviously are still at the point where we would argue probably no, because when we ask like a language learning model, and when I'm talking about like AI in the world, I'm mostly talking about those. These ones obviously don't have like memory in that sense, not in the way that humans have that. Right, they don't understand what's happening. They just make guesses based on an algorithm and based on a seed, which is right, like just how randomness basically gets emulated in software. Based on that, they kind of give you an answer that seems plausible more than it being something that's being understood. And now, obviously, you could argue, like a lot of the people who are like really pro AI always like to argue about how the process of like these models learning something, it's like learning in quotation marks here, how they are learning something is actually really close to like how humans do it, right? Like they don't just, when we're talking about like art generation or image generation, they obviously don't just save all of those pictures and then they melt them all together. Instead, they obviously look, again, being very charitable here, look at those pictures and then based on an algorithm, figure out like how points should be assigned, basically. And then they kind of forget like the original picture, right? It's not saved anywhere. Instead, they just like get like parts of the data and like combine it with like the data they already had. And there is like an argument that is like kind of similar how humans do it, because obviously when we are drawing a picture, like some may use like a reference, obviously, but if you're drawing without a reference, like you technically have references, right? Like they're all in your mind, but they're like an amalgamation of like all the things you have seen before, right? Like if you want to draw an apple, you've probably seen an apple before, and you probably have seen more than one apple, right? You're not just copying that one, but instead you're using like all the knowledge you have gained from seeing like so many apples over the entirety of your life to draw that. And there's like always the discussion that this is actually somewhat similar. to like again like how those models do it to like how humans do it. And that kind of raises the question, at which point do these models actually count as human? Because this is actually a really scary thought if you think about it. I mentioned this before in like one of the episodes when we were at what even consciousness is. I don't know how we got to that, but basically the idea that if you assume again that humans are just biochemical machines and there technically is like biological programming in there, like the way our hormones react and how electrical impulses are being sent through our body, right? Like this is technically pre-programmed, loosely said, right? It just seems like we make free will choices, I'm gonna call it, because of how the programming inside of us is just kind of wired. This is like again like part of like my belief. Obviously, if people believe in free will, then this is obviously going to look a little bit different to them. But where was I going with that? I had like 10 thoughts in my mind there. But yeah, like the thing that I mentioned there was like basically, okay, then the question is, where does consciousness come from? And like it could be just the electricity, right? In our mind, like there has to be something that creates like the consciousness. And just because I don't have like a clear answer to that doesn't mean that there isn't one. And maybe it's actually like the electrical impulses that actually build a consciousness. And now the question is, I originally posed the question, what happens if like you turn on a PC? Is that like a consciousness in a certain way? Maybe it is. We couldn't really check on that. That's like kind of a big problem in there. But if we go like a step further and have like those language models and stuff that not just have like the electricity, but like also this continuing process of like learning of that stuff, at some point you're gonna have to ask yourself, is that a person? And is terminating the AI like killing it, basically? Because that's kind of what is happening. You're turning it off. It's like if we didn't have any electrical impulses in our body, we would also be dead, right? Everything is again kind of controlled by like those chemical or like chemical processes that create electricity. We would also be dead if we didn't have like any electricity in our body, to describe it like that, right? Like our consciousness would end. Does that mean that they have like their own personhood? And this actually goes like more into like the area of law. Like if we currently, like in academia at least, if you are generating something using, for example, ChatGPT, you actually have to quote it. At least where I live. I don't know if that's like a universal thing globally, but like you have to do that because you didn't do the work, and this would be academic fraud if you just copied that. You have to quote the like the model basically, which I think is always silly, which is why I would never do that. Right? Like I would never use the model to actually write like scientific papers, but that's besides the point. But now the question is like, are you stealing from them? Like even if you're doing it for like other tasks? Because like basically if we assume that this is personhood, that we have reached personhood at some point, but like, or like let me rephrase that. Even if we have not reached AI that has like something resembling personhood, or like that we would give personhood to, at some point it would reach that. Somewhere between like the point currently and somewhere in the future, assuming that we can reach like some general AI or something like that. And like all of these processes would probably be iterative, and at some point we would have to decide that this is now a person, or like something. If it's not a person, because obviously we are currently not giving the rights of personhood to like animals, for the most part I would argue, even though the text is talking about that. We don't do that, but there has to be some sort of line that we have to kind of set, where we are saying, okay, at this point this is a person, at this point it is not. And it's going to be kind of scary, because at that point using a language model would basically be using slaves, right? That's the only way you could put it. And I think it's actually a really interesting question, because we had talked about evolution in like a previous part, or like maybe this one. I don't know. I'm yapping so much I kind of distract myself. But since evolution is like such a slow process, at which point in that process did we have the first person? Because that means that we have like children of like some I'm gonna call them like ape just to differentiate between like human and ape, like say person, right? There was like some ape and then their children were human. Obviously, biologically speaking, they were like still 99% the same, but like we have to put that line somewhere. And same is true with like personhood. We don't even have to talk about like whales or something like that. We can go for like real a lot closer things. Like again, they are talking about like which ones did they talk about? Didn't they mention something about like monkeys, apes, something? I forgot which exactly they used. Oh yeah, great apes. I completely missed it. It was like literally the first sentence of the second, or like the second sentence of the second paragraph. I don't know why I missed that one, but yeah, they're like great apes. At some point, right, like in their evolutionary process, at some point, there was like a person, right? Like if we use like some definition, obviously back then we didn't care about personhood, but if we were to make like a clear definition of personhood, then at some point we would have to draw a line, and there would be like some ancestor that was like the first person, and their parents weren't people. Which is interesting. I don't know. I've been yapping for so long. I don't know why this was something that just fascinated me in the moment. But yeah, definitely something to think about. Next one is... Wait, which one was it? Athena 8. Okay. You must consider these riddles, the Sphinx said, and tell me the riddle that I did not reveal. The Sphinx smiled, the gears in her jar creaking, the teeth a nightmare of rust. Her left eye flickered, but none of its terror was diminished. The ruins were silent in the error. A mechanical sphinx? What was Athena about again? Wasn't that like goddess of hunt? Didn't I make a note about that? Oh no, wait. I just opened my notes. This was Artemis. I don't know why I thought about Athena. Who was Athena then? I do recognize that name, and I hate that I recognize it. Probably used like everywhere in fiction because it's probably referencing someone really important in like myth. Anyway, let's finish reading that one. There's an error. Which is why I'm so confused about this being mechanical, because there's also 1912 CE. Huh. That's an interesting, because we do see like the years every single time. Wasn't there something else about... Oh, Athena analysis. Wait. I'm gonna read that one quickly. It was about the novel. Yeah, they were talking about that. There's a... Okay, I'm now curious if this is actually a real novel. Athena 6? Athena in the Garden of the Hesperides. This is where I recognize that one from, right? Right? By the way, I have not translated this one for myself. I guess we are getting a short translation here. ASCII, while I'm here, just checking if there's like anything else broken. I mean, you can see it if you can, but I guess this was the only one that was like properly broken with like ASCII over here. Wait, this isn't even ASCII. If you're loading something, this isn't necessarily ASCII. It could be. It's weird that it's combined in like 4 digits instead. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. Athena 8. I think, she finally said, that the riddle you did not reveal is this. Why do these riddles exist in the first place? Why do these curious automatons, these mute children of Hephaestus, behave as they do, forcing me to devise these intricate solutions? Each is a riddle, but the greater riddle is their purpose. The Sphinx did not answer. Her eye was lifeless now. Athena removed it from its socket, knowing that its power would aid her, yet feeling also a deep sorrow at the passing of this fearful creature. I'm just confused why it's mechanical. Obviously, when I'm thinking Sphinx, I'm thinking more of the like stone Sphinx that we have like in the desert in Egypt. But is it actually? How far away is the Sphinx actually? I don't recall. It doesn't actually matter that much for this moment, I guess. Anyway, this was enough yapping. I've already spent like more than half the episode. I wanted to solve puzzles. I am here to solve puzzles, not to philosophize about like other stuff, I guess. That's a lie. I love the writing here. I love thinking about stuff, even though I'm probably wrong about everything. That's the fun part. The more I converse with these terminals, the more I wonder what role they play in this contraption. How do you tell friend from foe when no obvious lines are drawn between the two? By sheep again. And I do agree, like again, like I am still confused by why they are so broken if apparently, what's that blue? Apparently Elohim can create everything perfectly, unless obviously Elohim himself, not a god, which is like my first assumption. Mainly that this is probably just an AI that's trying to make more AIs. I don't know. And also kind of faulty, maybe has no control over like a lot of stuff, maybe has no control over the terminals. And the terminals are actually connected to like an external database. I don't know. Anyway, there are like a lot of cubes here. I would like to check out like one of the puzzles that only consists out of cube. This is cube and laser. Let's go to the left here, I guess. This is only cube? Only cube. Friendly crossfire. Okay, there's like a red blinking. And I do see the cube over there. This is going to be a companion cube though. Okay, I feel like I can't do anything here. I just wanted to see. This is like an outline of what I need. This is all I wanted to see. Anyway, let's go... wait. Let's listen to something and then let's go back quickly and unlock the cube.
I was in school when I first read about the Talos Principle. I think it disturbed me at the time, made me hyper-aware of my body as a physical object, the material reality of the brain, ideas that made me uncomfortable at first, but I think in the long run, it helped me understand how frail human beings are and how precious. It's not a comforting way of thinking about the world, but I'd rather face the truth than lie to myself.
Okay, first of all, title drop, roll credits. Second of all, I do, like, again, like I do recognize Talos as like the, let's call him a golem. I don't think golem is like the right description for that one, but like a automaton that was basically invincible except for like small parts and then got killed. I don't know if there's like an explicit Talos principle I knew about. I don't know if it's just like referring to this automaton being basically a person, or if there was like something else still in there. Anyway, let's arrange this. I probably need you. I can rotate you like this. This is not how I want this to go, but this is probably fine. Alright, not too bad. I always want to drag, but it's actually clicking instead of dragging. I've unlocked the cube! The companion cube! There's no heart on you. I am disappointed. I'm so disappointed. Can I go into that hole together with you? No! Being left behind. Where are my feet? Rip feet. Well, I guess they kind of just sunk in there. Well then, I do have the cube. Now we can go back and actually do the cube puzzles. Because I feel like going back doesn't really help us here, because I don't actually know how to solve most of the things here. Okay, area 5 again. Return, beam me up, Scotty, and then let's check out what this is all about. I don't know why I just said that, but now I had to think about like the whole idea of teleportation, right? Like where we are teleporting right now. Are we still the same consciousness? Probably something that's going to come up in a later discussion, so I'm just going to leave it for now, because that's also something. Things to do with boxes. And it's actually a lot scarier, that conversation, which is why I'm going to leave it for now. Switch. Aha. Ooh, secret passage. For a secret? Okay, I need a laser. I do not have laser redirectors here though. How am I to do this then? Can go around here. Oh, there's a laser turret, okay. I need to connect you to something though. And this is why I'm always checking places like this. Is there a laser connector somewhere that I can see it? I mean, it would be in a position where I can actually see that thing over here. Over here, so... I don't know. I don't see a connector. Okay, I'm gonna leave you here. It's not like the connector is going to be active. Oh, more writing. Also 2 pieces. This is also the last purple piece. That's interesting. Just in case you missed them. Ooh, cubes. I can jump here. Okay. That's actually cool that you have like jump assistance so you don't have to... Wait. Hexahedron. Okay, sure. I mean, it is a hexahedron. I'm not gonna question that. I can just drop you like that. That's interesting. Put you on there. Okay, we do have buttons. I'm guessing if I put you here and stand on this one, this would also be fine. Okay. Put you here and then let's read. A powerful device fashioned by the designer. It's the one with faith talking about it. Yeah. What's a hexahedron? Samurai? Come on, it's hex in there, okay? A cube. Relatable. The edges are beveled. That makes it a... Wait, decahedron? Always right, version 7. So right, yeah. I mean, kind of, yeah. Beveled. Oh, yeah, okay. I'm kind of stupid, yeah. I mean, yeah. Always right is correct. Gosh dang it, I hate him already. You forgot the indents. With the indents, it's like a super polyhedron. Real 7... Wait, what? Okay, I'm just gonna not try to read that. But the convex hull is a decahedron. Topic closed. Wow. Wrong. My dog? Or is it God? God with dyslexia. What's that sound? It just sounded like something got activated. And I did not like that. I don't like noises. The noises spook me, and maybe it's just part of the soundtrack, and I hate it when it's part of the soundtrack. Same with like the mystical, magical melody that we had before. Do you like the cube? Okay, I wanted to see if I could stand above the lasers. Apparently I cannot. Let's rewind. What do you want me to do then? Oh wait, I can probably stand on this side. Put you over here, and you should bounce. And then I can read. I really don't like this beeping. Epitaph. Child program version 8.1.8545. Codename Apis. Terminated here. Logic. Failed random memory test. Final memory dump. I try. Again. I cannot understand. I am not enough. Progeny programs error. Okay. RIP Apis. By Ted. RIP indeed. In a lot of pieces. Okay, I need to get you to bump the other way. Take it. Put it here. Go around. That's kind of scary. But just kind of... Oh, I should have brought you again. I get it. It's all on me. Anyway, I need to jump over here. I hope I didn't need 2. I don't think so. Oh, wait. Oh, once I'm standing on them, they're actually showing me where I can jump. I am gonna be completely honest here. Like, jumping was like a thing where I felt like this is kind of weird. I've played other games, like puzzle games where you can jump, but I always feel like it's weird. I do like the option that you just get like an assistant in there. Because I feel like if you're playing a puzzle game, you probably don't want to be stopped by platforming. That's like just my opinion here, and that's something that sometimes happens. Anyway, purple piece. That's the 5th one. We can open a secret area now. And green! Not a cube, but let's be honest, it works the same. Thanks for that achievement. I know you can't hear the achievements anymore because I split a Steam sound. Anyway, if the designer's perfect, and he designed me for a purpose, I must be fit for that purpose. It follows that my purpose must not be to seek and hoard every sigil in his land, For so many are beyond the faculties he granted me. A reasonable assumption if you start over there. Makes sense if you're the one with faith, yeah. But I feel like I was not made for this and I'm just going to do it anyway. I do not understand why the designer chose to put such flaws into the world. That it appears almost as if it were damaged. But I must believe that there is a purpose here I cannot see. I do like having the consistency in like the belief of the characters. I need to, like, I have actually a list of like all the characters we have already read about. Obviously they're always changing the number. Wait, this is 106053F. 103. Okay, this is definitely a different one. Took quite some time actually. Like, my belief is still that they sent in like multiple AIs to solve this. Like after some models, like for example the Faith model or the Sheep model, and try to iterate upon this. And like, even those two are obviously then not the same. Because those are like versions, those are like not messages. So like 2 with Faith came here and they both came to like different conclusions. This is 10.6, 10.3. So like this one came in here first and still had like some doubt, right? Like something's off here. And then later on came here again, like some other iteration tried to collect like all of the sigils and went like, you know what? I have faith. I just might not be made for this. Which is interesting. But it's also confusing. Also, weather changed. We didn't really have a weather cycle before, right? That's interesting that this is added. And I would like to use the chance while I can see, while it's bright out, to see if I can see any lasers. Unless I can actually shoot them through here. I'm kind of curious about that. Like if I put you here and then place you on the floor. I want to see if I go through here. You should stay here. And if I can actually... Don't glitch in front of me, please. If I can actually connect this. So I'm going to go over here because there should be... Yeah, there's a red dot. Wait a second. Before I use that one, let me see if I can just do it from here. I can select you. Okay, so I can shoot through the purple ones. That's interesting. You actually take quite some time. I don't know why. And you're getting another star. Ah, I'm such a good noodle. Anyway. We've completed this one. I don't actually know how many stars there are in the area. And we are also at the end of the episode, basically. I have yapped so much about AI, apparently. It's such a topic that makes me mad all the time. But all the same, it's also something I am at least somewhat interested in, right? Like, because it's still a cool technology. For all the flaws it reveals in mankind. Anyway, I would say let's end it here. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'll be seeing you next time. Till then, have a good one. And bye-bye.